I've been married to my husband for 5 years, and earlier this year I learned I cannot have children, at least not without a lot of intervention, and even then it's highly unlikely. My husband has 4 children from his first marriage. His late wife died while the children were all very young, 2.5 years before we met. They're now between the ages of 10 and 15. I love my stepkids. I've always loved being their stepmom, even though they don't want a close relationship with me. They seem to feel like it would be disloyal to their mum, and that their maternal family would be hurt if they were very close to me. It's something I'd tried not to take personally, and I accepted it and embraced that I would probably only be Dad's wife and not stepmom or grandma in the future when they have grandkids. I always thought at least we could have children together, but now that dream has been taken, and I don't know that I can be happy staying married. I personally would struggle to accept watching my husband have an amazing relationship with my stepkids while I don't, and knowing I can't have that relationship with my child. I'm already struggling to hold myself together. I was honest with my husband about it, and I started therapy. He asked if I was considering leaving, and I told him I needed to work through everything in therapy, but that it was possible. He asked if there was anything he could do. I said no. We had talked about the costs of fertility treatments, and it's just not feasible with the kids we already have. And I think the mental torture of trying, and if it doesn't work, which is the most likely outcome, it would be harder for me. I love my husband and I love the kids, but I don't think it would be enough for me. I don't think I'm capable of being okay with being the outsider, with never hearing I love you from one of the kids, knowing I will never hear it from a child I have raised. My husband's parents are aware I am in therapy, and they are aware we were given bad news about having a baby together. They have tried talking to me, but I can't find it in myself to open up the wound with them and tell them everything. They wouldn't fully understand, and even if they were lovely, I would feel strange saying all this when it would involve mentioning their grandchildren and their son. But they have been pretty insistent, and a few days ago they tried to find a way around finding out what I talk about in therapy. I grew incredibly frustrated and asked them to please stop prying into my therapy experience. They escalated from frustration to anger and told me I should be more open with them because we are family and they could help. Now I feel even more terrible. Am I the idiot? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. I guess it boils down to this. Do you love your husband more than you need to have children love you? I utterly loved my youngest stepson, spoiled him, did things for him, had long talks with him, laughed and loved. The last thing he ever called me was a bewitch because his mum twisted him around her finger. Now I get to watch from the sidelines as my husband barely has a relationship with him, and his mum, who barely gave him a second of her time while he was growing up, has him at her beck and call. I wouldn't change a thing. I did everything I could for that child, but I love his dad most, and I would die for my husband who has treated me like a queen from day one. I call it compartmentalization. Works for me. I put him in a box, taped it shut and threw him to the back of my mind. I now enjoy my empty nest time with my husband. Comment 2. My sure to be unpopular advice to you, OP, is get a divorce. Spending time, money, energy and affection on 4 kids who will never return an ounce of that love is just a bad investment in your future. Even more importantly, your husband cannot financially support you in your need/dreams of having your own child. In fact, his existing children make it financially impossible for you to have your own child. That alone would be a complete deal-breaker for me, not to mention his overbearing and insanely rude parents. Get a divorce and find someone who will work with you to have children of your own. You can always adopt or have an egg donor or surrogate. Don't give up your precious dreams of having your own child and waste your whole life taking care of children who will give you absolutely nothing in return. Comment 3. Not the idiot. And I would not feel terrible. They are in fact terrible people by prying into your personal trauma. It has nothing to do with them, and I would be honest saying it's none of their business. And if they continue, say you don't want to be around them any longer if they keep pushing you. I think you are mainly feeling conflicted. You love your husband, but you have decided you need to start a family, and it's what you want, and that may not be with your husband, or you may want to go the single mum way. But you are hurting now by feeling like you are being held back by being stuck married. This is why you are conflicted, as you are at a crossroads with a choice. Therapy will help you make the choice that you need to go forward in life X. Now, for the next story, I plan to show my significant other this, so keeping this as fair and balanced a write-up as possible. My 31-year-old husband has been out of work since April of this year after a layoff. She wanted to take the summer off and recover from the burnout she experienced. Very fair. Supported the decision 100%. Typically, I always do the grocery shopping, dishes, take out the trash and walk our dog. She cooks and does the laundry. She hires a house cleaner to handle the majority of the cleaning. Usually, we split responsibility for everything else, like feeding our pets, walking the dog, making the bed, etc. I always pay a larger share of our mortgage, bills, groceries, etc. as I earn more. Call it a 60-40 split of bills when we are both employed. Now I pay about 80% or more of some bills in full because she is concerned about her savings being depleted. I have expressed concern about her spending habits as she makes $2,000 per month from unemployment and will spend hundreds per month on clothes, online shopping, $400 or more on hair every couple of months, etc. As my work has become busier and more stressful over the past few months, I've asked her to take on more responsibility around the house for the things that I normally do. It's important to note that I do not expect to be exempt from housework. I just need more help, especially as I have been travelling and working later hours more often. She has always refused and says things like, "You just want me to be your mum to do all of your stuff for you," and claims that I am being lazy. She has not applied for any jobs during her time unemployed. She had one interview set up by an old work connection of hers that did not work out. She spends her weekdays working on her design portfolio, which she says takes a long time. I'm not a designer, so I don't know. But she has been working on it for 3 months, shutting herself in her office all day to work on it before spending the evenings playing Baldur's Gate on my gaming PC. It was Stardew Valley that she played all evening before BG3 came out. A recent example is when I went on a business trip to London for over a week and asked her before I left to handle the chores while I was away and to return an Amazon package for me. When I came home, there was a giant pile of recyclables boxes that hadn't been taken out despite trash service coming twice, the sink overflowing with dirty dishes, and the Amazon package sitting where I left it. She was surprised at why I was upset, and it turned into a fight. I feel like I'm being manipulated. However, every time I mention that I need help and expect it if she is not working, I'm told that I'm being too demanding and a misogynist. Am I the jerk? Aita. Now for the next story. So long story short, I'm a 27-year-old woman with a niece who is now 13 years old. Long story, my sister is much older than me. For her birthday, I went to the Korean skincare store and got her a little care package with fun bubbling or animal face masks, night cream, mist, a little serum in a cool-looking bottle, a cleanser and sunscreen. My sister got mad and said I was pressuring her to conform to beauty standards. She said that the animal masks and cute bottles are fun, but the inclusion of night cream and sunscreen could make her daughter already feel pressure not to age at 13. I see it as a fun way of ensuring good skin habits at an early age, considering most start their routines way too young, and I see it as a cute girly gift that she might enjoy. But my sister says 13 years old is too young and she shouldn't be worrying about aging. Am I the idiot? Comment 1. I'm going to say no idiots here. Has your niece expressed interest in these items? Sunscreen, face masks, etc. Oh, those are fun hobbies and good for the skin, especially sunscreen, but I can see where your sister might be worried too. This is a very formative time in your niece's life, and I've seen plenty of women my age, 32 and younger, who started skincare routines young, develop an unhealthy obsession with looking young, worried they're aging, losing it over natural things. I think it might be important to have a conversation with your niece about why you got her these things and how they're important for her well-being, like sunscreen, just as important as brushing your teeth, but also skin issues are normal too. Comment 2. Oh, for crying out loud, not the idiot. Your sister overreacted to an innocently and good-naturedly given gift. You weren't shaming her into using age-defying products. A night cream isn't poison, people. It's moisturizer. If there are any ingredients in it that she's sensitive to, then her mum can remove it from the basket and take it for herself after saying, "Thank you for such a thoughtful gift. We will definitely have fun with the mask." Also, at 13, she probably doesn't even know everything she may be allergic to, and the only way to find out is to have an allergic reaction to something. I actually laughed after reading this and thought, really? Comment 3. No idiots here, it's a sweet gesture. But if your niece did not express any interest in this stuff, it could seem like you are pressuring her to perform beauty or making a comment on her appearance. Teenagers are really vulnerable and insecure, especially girls. The beauty industry is a billion-dollar industry relying on the exploitation of people's insecurities, and I can see why your sister wants to protect her daughter from that as long as possible and let her just enjoy being a kid. Yes, sunscreen is important, but lots of skincare is unnecessary and expensive, and elaborate skincare routines are marketing hype. Now for the next story. Hey Reddit, I'm Leon, I'm 31 years old, I'm gay and happily married to my husband Alex. We have a lovely 7-year-old son named Max, whom we adopted as a baby. I also have an older sister Sarah, who has always supported me in my choices, but the focus of this story is my younger brother Mark. Mark is 28 years old, and as far back as I can remember, he has been extremely hateful and openly vocal about it. He loves to insult the queer plus community, including me and my husband. This drove a wedge between us to the point where we barely spoke unless necessary. Now, about the recent incident, Mark got into financial trouble due to a series of bad decisions and was evicted from his apartment. Despite our differences, I couldn't let my own brother be homeless, so I offered him a place to stay temporarily until he gets back on his feet. My husband, Alex, was hesitant, but he agreed because family is family. While he was at my house, we tried to maintain a healthy environment for Max's sake. We didn't want our son exposed to Mark's hateful views, so we set some rules. No hateful comments, and he needed to keep his beliefs to himself while under our roof. Everything was fine for a while, but today was my husband's birthday, and we decided to invite our friends and family over for a barbecue at our house. I was manning the grill while Alex played with Max in the pool, and Mark was a bit further away, drinking with some cousins. When we all sat down to eat, I decided to make a toast in honour of my husband, and that's when Mark, completely intoxicated, started making various highly hateful remarks directed at me and Alex. Max, who was sitting with us, was clearly disturbed by his uncle's comments. At that point, I couldn't take it anymore. I reprimanded him in front of everyone at the table, highlighting how harmful his words were and how they affected our son. Mark was furious with the reprimand, accused me of being overly sensitive, and tried to justify his prejudiced opinions. The situation quickly became tense and awkward for everyone at the table. I lost my patience and said things in a heated tone that I shouldn't have. I yelled at Mark, calling him an idiot and stating that I wouldn't tolerate his homophobia in my home, and told him to pack his things and leave. The atmosphere became tense and Alex tried to calm the situation. Mark was furious, packed his things and left our house. Now our family is divided. Some believe Mark provoked the situation with his hateful views, while others think I was too harsh and became the jerk in the situation since he has nowhere else to go. So, Reddit, am I the idiot? Edit. I saw someone asking what Mark said, in addition to wondering why other relatives don't welcome him, and I think it's good to explain, but unfortunately it won't fit in this post, so I'll respond in the comments. Now here are the comments. Comment 1, answering some questions. First, regarding what Mark said. In summary, when I began to praise my husband and held his hand, Mark started jokingly about how I was making the situation uncomfortable by holding hands, using cute nicknames, and kissing my husband. He said I shouldn't act as if we were a real couple when we shouldn't even be considered human beings. Mark immediately laughed as if it were the funniest joke in the world. As for the relatives not accommodating him, my husband and I have a great standard of living. I'm a lawyer and he's a surgeon, and we have various investments that have yielded well in recent years. We're not rich, but we can comfortably live, and we could easily accommodate one more person in our house. That's why everyone thinks I have the responsibility to help him, because in addition to being my brother, I'm the one with more money. However, he's not sleeping on the streets and will likely crash on our relative's couch for a while. Comment 2, not the idiot. You didn't make your brother homeless. He did that all on his own. He made the bad financial choices that got him evicted. He made the choice to trample the reasonable boundaries you established from the beginning. He made the choice to make derogatory, insulting comments at a birthday celebration in front of his nephew. His choices have consequences. One of those consequences was being told to leave your home. Tell the next family member that says you were too harsh and a jerk because he has no place to go, that he can live with them, and that you refuse to allow someone in your son's home that insults and disparages his parents, period. Comment 3, not the idiot. If your family is divided, then you have a lot more homophobes in your family than you thought. Sure, he said horrific things to you and yours at a birthday party for your husband in front of your child. Were you supposed to be okay with it? Were you supposed to treat him politely when he treated you all like crap? There are times to be the bigger man and times to draw a line. You were the bigger man when you let the jackass stay with you. You drew the line at the behaviour that you warned him would be the end. You held true to your word and have nothing to be ashamed about. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.